The name of this video tutorial is Empty Object. A big thank you to Neil Hersig at Tufts University, who created the tutorial on which my tutorial is based, and that tutorial is at grillis.net. An empty object is a non-renderable object that represents a point in space. So let's start with the Blender default scene. Delete the default cube by pressing the X key and confirming the delete. Add a tube object, Shift-A, Mesh, Tube. Then add a monkey object, Shift-A, Mesh, Monkey. Move it along the Y-axis by pressing the G key, then the Y key, and then dragging the monkey. Duplicate the monkey, Shift-D, and move the duplicated monkey to the other side of the tube object by pressing the G key, then the Y key, and then dragging. To add an empty object, press Shift-A, and then select Empty from the Add menu. Move the empty object down a bit. An empty object is represented as an axis icon. We'll turn off the transform widget to see this better. Press the N key to bring up the properties panel of the 3D viewport. Although it is non-renderable, an empty object has a location, rotation, and scale. Press the N key to hide the properties panel of the 3D viewport. An empty object is often used as a placeholder or a proxy object. In most cases, it's used as a parent to other objects. Select the monkey on the left. Press Shift right mouse button to add the tube to the selection. Press Shift right mouse button to add the monkey to the right of the selection. And then press Shift right mouse button to add the empty object to the selection. Press Ctrl P to make the empty the parent of the other three objects. Now we can just select the empty object, press the G key, and move the three objects by moving just the empty object. We'll undo the parenting of the empty object by pressing Alt P after we've selected all the other three objects and selecting Clear Parent. An empty object is also sometimes used as a reference point. Select the tube object, tab into Edit Mode, deselect the vertices with the A key. Select the center vertex at the bottom of the tube. You can reference the center vertex at the bottom of the tube multiple times during modeling. Press Shift-S and snap the cursor to the selected vertex. Tab out of Edit Mode. Add an empty object with Shift-A to reference the vertex. Now you can use the second empty object to snap the cursor to the vertex instead of having to go into Edit Mode and again select that vertex. An empty object is also often used as part of a constraint system. We'll make the first empty object the target of the constraint. Select the camera object. Add a track 2 constraint. Let 2 equals -z and up equals y. Make the first empty object, called empty, the target of the constraint. The camera is now tracking the empty object. If the camera is moved, it still points to the empty object. This is a convenient way of animating or focusing the camera on what the camera is focused on. Moving the empty object also makes the camera move as well. Empty objects can be duplicated. One empty object can be the parent of another empty object. You'll discover many uses of the empty object as you grow and develop your Blender modeling skills.